The man accused of killing two Israeli embassy staffers in D.C. earlier this year is back in court today for a status hearing. 30-year-old Yaron Lishinsky and 26-year-old Sarah Milgram, they were both shot and killed as they left the Jewish Museum, the Capitol Jewish Museum, I should say, just last year. Now, the two were said to be engaged. The suspect, Elias Rodriguez, was seen in videos shouting "Free Palestine" inside the museum just minutes before the shooting happened. Federal prosecutors say they are seeking the death penalty in the case. Anna Schecter, who covers crime for CBS News, joins us right now with much more information. Anna, good to see you. So what can we expect to happen in today's status hearing?
Well, both sides have been reviewing discovery. So prosecutors and have turned a lot over to defense attorneys who have been reviewing those materials. But Mugo, just to widen the aperture, this was such a heart-wrenching case. You mentioned they were engaged. They were just walking outside of an event. And, you know, both of them had been working on peace talks. They were peace activists. This was just a horrific, horrific crime, and one of, unfortunately, an increasing number of anti-Semitic attacks. This is just a classic example of it, with the most horrific outcome: two young people killed. Now, in terms of this case, as you mentioned, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, so that raises the stakes in this case. That makes the discovery that I mentioned all the more important, and we'll see what happens at this hearing. We might even get a timeline as to when we expect this to go to trial. Rodriguez, we should say, has pleaded not guilty to murder, hate crimes, and terrorism-related charges.
This case, obviously, as you mentioned, very devastating. This couple looking to be engaged in the near future. And this also came at a time when we're talking about Gaza and Hamas and Israel. Do you think that all plays into why prosecutors are going for the death penalty here? Just thinking of the intensity of the killing itself, the two people who were set to be engaged, and also the backdrop of the hate that came with it.
I think the murder in cold blood and the motivation, as you just mentioned, is important as prosecutors are bringing this case, when they present this case to a jury. All of that will be factored in. And after October 7th and the subsequent war in Gaza, the number of anti-Semitic hate crimes skyrocketed, according to the FBI data that we and our data team at CBS News reviewed. So this is the worst case scenario. And so, yes, that probably factors into it. But I would also say, Mugo, that the Trump administration, in fact, Trump signed an executive order that he would seek the death penalty in these types of cases, murder cases. And the former Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who was Attorney General at the time of the attack, she made a big push to pursue the death penalty in cases like this. So I would say it's across the board. Remember, she also was pushing for the death penalty in the case of Luigi Mangione.
That's
now,
right.
A federal judge threw out the charges that could carry the death penalty. So that is off the table for him. So we'll see how this legal process plays out. In this case, you just have the federal case. The feds are handling this prosecution. So I expect the death penalty might stay on the table because, you know, the defense team can't say they're split, double jeopardy. They're trying to try the defendant for the same crimes twice, which of course would violate the Constitution, Mugo.